You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Oh, rebels, how are you all living today? We had a warm spell, it got cold, but we're going to keep it hot. We are going to keep it hot in the studio today. There's plenty to get into. There's NBA, there's even NFL stuff to talk about, believe that or not. So, oh man. No suspensions here, but I can't promise hands won't be thrown. So, but we're going to get into it, man. We got college basketball, NBA. We got some NFL things going on. There's debauchery to be had everywhere in this world, and that's what our 2 hours is all about. So, without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here is your host, the man, the myth, the legend, Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we're back here for another edition of DSR2 on this cold and blustery Wednesday here in February. Yes, it was 54 degrees yesterday, and today we hit like 26 with a wind chill like 10. The hell, this roller coaster ride of February is just, I've had it, up the air. On there. We got lots here to talk about on there. All sorts of craziness going on. We'll get in a little bit of NBA action. We'll make fun of the All-Star game and definitely the slam dunk contest for damn sure.
Jeez.
We'll get into basically some college basketball bubble teams on there. We've got we'll break down the USFL draft. No, we'll just make fun of the USFL.
Oh, man.
And we'll make fun of Phil Mickelson there with his deal with the SGL, the Saudi Golf League, that basically collapsed there before our eyes.
Dude, this is
You're
amazing.
Gone so soon, I didn't even know you were around.
Yeah. It's one of those, I feel like I'm in like bizarro land, but it's not like, we don't have like the big guns here. Like where you have like a topic where you just blast it and you hit it, and but we got a bunch of like,
oh yeah,
it's like rapid fire stuff here, man. It's a semi-automatic warfare with what we got over the course of this week, and
2 hours of lightning round.
I mean, that's I mean, when we used to do that lightning round, we would just whip, 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 whip. Oh my goodness, that's what it kind of feels like. This whole dang show might actually go. There's a million and one things to talk about, from college basketball through NBA. You got the All-Star debacle. Gosh, what else we got, Moose? We got tons of stuff out there. I can't believe I saw Tiger Woods in the mix.
Yeah, Tiger Woods said he's feeling better. He will play again in the PGA, and they asked him, "Are you going to tour regularly?" He goes, "No,
I know,
no."
Yeah, kidding me? What?
Kidding? No, I almost died a year ago.
I know. It's just,
no, I will play again. I'm feeling good, but it's going to be the majors and maybe an event here and there, and that's it for the PGA. I mean,
and guys, it's
because I don't need the money.
All right. And there's of course, there's NFL talk to be had. Of course. But I think we're a little NBA heavy. As much as we tease the NFL all the time here, and we do a lot of NFL stuff, and we will. There's more than just the All-Star weekend to dive into with the NBA right now.
Oh, God, yes.
There's like a lot of meat on this bone, from LeBron down, all the way down. Did you see the new Magic, the Magic's Lakers, like movie gimmick that's coming out?
Yeah, on HBO. It's a series on there. It's Showtime. It's all about the 80s, the Showtime Lakers, which, again, I saw the trailer for it, and it's like, I think I'm going to have to definitely get into that.
It looks saucy.
All I know is they better have the episode where Worthy gets popped with 2 undercover cops, basically, that pose as hookers. Because he wanted to have a threesome in Houston. I remember that 30-something years ago.
See, this is the whole thing. That era of the NBA was on tape delay, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
so there was there was not this access that we have now from a standpoint of like seeing these cats. You didn't even get them live on TV, let alone social media and all that other stuff. So these guys are pretty, they could kind of, even for 7-foot guys and 6'8" guys, they could kind of fly under the radar because it wasn't like that, right? Unless it's home team, right?
Right.
So, like, the exploits, the things that they could get away with in comparison to now, oh, dude, come on. Come on. I want to know. Give me the goods, man. Give me the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the NBA Finals between the 76ers and the Portland Trailblazers. That was like tape delay at midnight on a Friday. Nobody watches TV on Friday, and they're like a delay at midnight.
Nah, if you're lucky, you might see it at the bar. You'd be all snammered. You'd be like, "Is that a basketball game on the TV over there?"
Yeah.
On the one giant, huge box TV that was shoehorned in the corner on this crazy shelf.
It was 3 guys that saved the NBA. It was David Stern, Magic, and Bird.
Yep.
Basically, as soon as they got in there, suddenly the NBA is on prime time for the finals.
Well, they had a marketable thing there with the rivalry there. You could
huge.
Build this.
Because the Lakers came back to prominence. Boston came back to prominence.
Well, it's one of those things where it's nobody came back to anything because nobody knew, right?
Yeah.
Like what makes prominence is the fans, and so you didn't have that fan base. So
it's the renewal of the renewal of the rivalry on there, because that was the rivalry of the 60s.
Sure. What you had was a marketable rivalry with those teams. You had the white meat baby face, I guess pun intended, with Larry Bird, and then you had that smooth Magic Johnson and Showtime and all that. It was the antithesis of 2 different cultures being played out on television. It was that's why people bought into it. Let's be real. And that you're going to see that in that HBO Max thing.
I just hope it's half as good as the 30 for 30 miniseries with the Lakers and Celtics.
Well,
that 3-part miniseries was just stellar.
My whole thing is you almost can't mess it up unless you're just incompetent. Like it's written for you.
Oh,
you just have to cast right. You just have to. I mean, It's pretty much written for you.
I get a look. I don't know who's playing Magic, but you looked. I just caught. I'm like, dude,
He does
like
look.
Magic.
Yeah, he did.
And then John C. Riley playing Jerry Buss. I'm like, holy shit, he looked like Jerry Buss.
Yeah, they do a good
Now
job.
who's gonna play damn Jack Nicholson?
Yeah,
They're in
The
Diane
sidelines,
Cannon.
Yeah, all that. That'll be awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I just think the NBA's got a lot of good and a lot of crazy, but there's a lot of meat on the bone. So I don't know where you want to start. You want to start NBA?
Let's go NBA right
All
off
right.
the bat.
I mean, we got more of that to roll with, so let's do it. Text line is available to you guys. Let me get that up for you here in just 1 second. Also, we're on social media, Studio 57 Radio across the board, and studio57radio.com. Text if you want to be anonymous, you want to say crazy stuff, and you don't want people to see you. You don't want to be in the chat room doing it. Maybe you're doing other things, and you just got your phone in hand, and it's easier. You can text us 313-307-5340. Get in on the conversation. We're gonna hit it hard with the NBA here, but whatever you guys want, we will steer the ship. You guys tell us where to go. Moose, though, the NBA, like, where do you want to start? You want to make fun of the All-Stars, or you want to get it?
You know what? Let's get into the All-Stars.
Oh,
Let's go into the All-NBA, the top 75 team out there. Did you see the picture when they introduced, or the video clip when they introduced Ray Allen as part of the top 75, the All-75 team? Garnett is just standing there just like, I'm like, freaking, you're still being a baby.
Look.
He won you a damn NBA title.
These things are...
He was part of the Three Musketeers.
Okay, but is he one of the top 75 players to ever play the basketball game? Ever?
Well, Ray Allen might be, because prior to Steph Curry, he was the all-time leader of 3 points on there. He was a great shooter.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about a league that only half of its history even
had I mean, the third three-pointer's only been around for the last 40 years. I mean, yeah, you're right.
So
I don't know if Ray Allen is, but
and then we could break this list down, which we won't do because that bores the shit out of people.
Yes.
But it's not. It's not
hard
a list.
to see
It's not a unanimous list. Let's
no,
just
oh God,
say.
no, because none of the 04 Pistons are on it. The only one I would say maybe worthy of that might have been Ben Wallace, because of, again, the way he played really off-ball defense and his rebounding and everything with it. But then again, is he really worth it? I'm like, no, I don't think.
Well,
I would say his Rodman is a better version of Honor, and yes, he's Honor, and rightly so.
Now this whole thing is the 04 Pistons, that's what they were. Like, you can't now say that any one of those guys should be in the top 75 or 100 or whatever, because the whole thing was that none of them were none of them were Hall of Famers.
The sum was greater. Yes,
really
the
great
sum
players.
of them was greater
Maybe
than
Sheed.
yes, the sum was greater than all the parts.
Right.
Each individual part was on, and I got the clowns on there. And I went down the rabbit hole again about Stockton. Oh my God, Stockton is the greatest point guard. I'm like, dude, Stockton is like number 4 point guards all time.
Yeah,
it's Magic, Zeke, Oscar Robinson, then Stockton. Like, no way. I said, dude, Zeke made a point to embarrass Stockton every time they played against
without
Utah.
A doubt.
He wanted a point, like, especially when he got cut off the Dream Team on there, and Stockton got that. Okay, I'm going to show you why I should have been on that team, and lit him up for 44 points. He purposely, I mean, dude, 3/4 of his assists are attributed to the pick and roll with Karl Malone.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, if I'm not gonna downplay Stockton, but when it's
again, I'm giving him 4th of all time.
But to me, I'm not even going to give him that, because when it's all said and done, I think Dame Lillard's going to be better point guard than him.
It's all, it might.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't.
Chris Paul might pass him.
I think Chris Paul is right now. He's only a championship away.
Yeah.
If he was,
Stockton's never won a championship.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That you can't sit there and tell me now that Stockton is over CP3 when everything given
I think
equally,
a better all-around player. I'm taking
Right.
CP3 over
Right.
Stockton every day of the week.
Right.
And don't ever be saying, oh, he's better than Zeke. Dude, Zeke would freaking carve your heart out and show it to you while he's basically dishing the rock.
Look, to me, Magic wasn't a point guard. To me, Magic was a utility player that was too big. He just played point guard. He was just a giant point guard because he could move. He wasn't the traditional point guard.
No.
And so you start taking guys that have physical mismatches. It's kind of like LeBron. When he plays point, Yeah, he can be a point guard. He's good enough, but he's not a point guard. He's got a physical advantage at that position. It's like if a heavyweight drops down to middleweight, I'm gonna whoop your ass. I fight at 60 pounds heavier or whatever it is. I'm going to crush you.
Right, because I'm just
that much bigger.
Right.
I'm just that much stronger.
I'm taller, stronger.
Right.
Longer reach.
It's not. That's why they have weight classes in combat sports, because you would kill somebody.
Right. You can't have a 150 pound middleweight going against a 230 pound heavyweight.
So for when I always look at point guards, I always take Magic out of it, because Magic is, and it's the same thing with LeBron. Magic has got an advantage at every position because of his physicality and the way he moves, right?
Yeah.
At both guard positions, he is bigger. He is more physically demanding. Once you start getting into the other positions, he's faster, more mobile.
Yeah.
He can move the ball.
Well,
he has an advantage at every position because of his size.
Right. And we saw the same thing with Magic, that his rookie year when he won MVP of the finals, game 6 he goes play center because Kareem's got migraines,
right,
and goes off for like 42 points, 10 boards, and like 9 assists.
Right. And who does that? Who does that now?
LeBron.
Right. How long have we beaten the drum that the Jordan LeBron conversation is dumb? It's stupid. It's not Jordan LeBron. It's Magic and LeBron. And Magic, to me, is not a point guard, because either is LeBron. They're both utility players that are just so damn good they can beat you at every single position.
Right.
Because they have an advantage in one shape or form because of the way he's built. So to me, I take Magic out of the equation, and Zeke is the best point guard, pure point guard, that has ever played the game. I make that argument for me because I watched him carve people up, and I'm taking Magic out of the mix. And I'm only making that as an argument. I'm not saying in gospel. I'm saying for me, I would make that argument. He would be my guy. But that's because I'm taking Magic out of it.
Right. And again, they still say Zeke is the best pound for pound, best little man to ever play the game.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
No Zeke. There's no Stephon Marbury. There's no Allen Iverson. There's none of those guys.
No. People forget how good Zeke was.
Nate Robinson, Muggsy Bogues, all them guys don't get chances.
No.
If you don't have a guy like Zeke. Isaiah Thomas now. He got his,
yeah,
he fell off after the hip injury, but he got his run.
Right.
As a small guy because of Zeke.
Right.
He was the guy. So it just, you can make an argument any way you want, but those awards, those things are arbitrary and they're silly, and that's what people get frustrated about and get all mad, and then it turns into blaming the guy like that's on the list like he's the offender. It's like, no, it's some douchebag like me was in the corner with a pen and a paper and wrote this out, and it got approved, and then it got approved, and then it got pumped out, and it's just garbage.
Yeah,
and I could do the same thing, and it holds the same value. Bagongo, zip, nothing. Right. It doesn't mean anything to other than the people that like to listen to whatever you're saying.
Yes.
Or read whatever you're writing.
On there, with that on there, and we talked about on there with it, but it was like, I had, again, Bill Russell wasn't there because, again, he's in his 80s, and he's like, listen, I'm not going there and exposing myself to like 30,000 people, man, with COVID on there. I'm in my late 80s, man. Yeah. I'm not gonna die.
Yeah, let me go into a stadium full of people with a pandemic. I'm like 182 years old, and all for this nonsense. For what?
No, I don't need it.
For this, I wouldn't even watch this on TV. Why do I have to come here? This is horrible. There was not a single good thing about that All-Star weekend. As bad as the dunk contest was, as embarrassing as that was, the game was just as bad.
Okay, there was no deal. It was just
dude.
loud.
How do you get near 200 points, 165 points, or whatever it was?
163 to 160 in 48 minutes.
You got 345 points, 350 points. The over/under was what? What was the over-under on that game?
I don't even know what the over-under, but
it was probably 275, and they blew it out of the water.
You had 14 guys in double digits.
Come on, man. They weren't even
They were
trying.
doing-
They weren't even trying. Did you see it? Like, anybody could do that. Hey, dude, can you make it from over there? Yeah, I can. Watch. Follow me. Run over there, shoot it. See, I made it.
Yeah, 50
That's
points.
the
I think
whole
what is it,
game.
Steph Curry had like 50 points. I'm like, seriously?
That's the whole game.
Play a little defense.
Dude, did you see him chuck him up from like just inside the half court, and he turned around the minute he threw it up?
'Cause he
already,
knew it was,
he was already down court the other way, and then it drops, and it's like, this is not fun anymore.
But it's just like ridiculous.
I mean, that was probably the most entertaining. Guess what? The only entertaining thing that they had going on was the 3-point shooting
Yes.
contest. That's always the usual thing. But
That was good. Yeah, actually,
you know.
that was pretty decent. But yeah, I wasn't
but
even
other
watching
than that,
dunk
I'm trying to
contest.
be positive, but I mean,
No, I mean, and, dude, we were that. I mean, I'm of that age too. I remember the slam dunk contest of the mid '70s in the old ABA when it was,
Yeah, oh.
Dr. J with the afro and he's just like soaring and going, how the hell is he flying like that? I mean, he's like, hey, beyond the arc, and it's just like, whoa.
yeah.
And then Jordan with the dunks. So like, dude, these were on it. It was, the mid '80s, the slam dunk was must watch TV
Well, it was one of those things where
because
you
it was
had,
Jordan and Dominique.
well,
I
you
mean,
had
yeah.
guys that liked dunking and had fun being creative with the dunks, and now it's like they're just trying to, like, how many dunks can you do, right? There's only so many dunks and so many flares that you could put on said dunks to make them seem a little different. So you saw it back with, let's go back to Dwight Howard v. Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
At this point, they were running out of dunks to do is gimmicky, right?
Right.
Superman outfit, kryptonite green gimmick, backboard on a high-low.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Dunking over a 7-footer, with the Superman gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they had to resort to. So now it's turned into a carnival act.
Yeah.
And then now you have to see what kind of goofy circus thing that you can do.
But they were missing them. I mean, that was the kicker. It's like,
But that's why I say they had no creativity. They're trying to recreate a Nike commercial, these kids, and they look like a bunch of idiots because they can't look. When you're out there with your friends for 16 hours in the backyard trying to do one dunk, that's fine, because when you take your little cell phone reel and you cut it down to 5 seconds, it looks like you're awesome. But, when we're all sitting here watching, waiting for you to do something, it's the dumbest crap to ever be aired on television.
and then when you miss 7 in a row,
Oh, no, it's embarrassing. No, it's dumb. No, it's the dumbest thing they
they need to
ever
just-
put on
it
a
just needs to
television
go
program.
away.
It's horrible. They someone need to come out and take the ball away.
Yeah.
No, like some stuffy dude in a suit should have just came out and snatched the ball and walked away. And
that's what Cream should have did. Just instead of grabbing his coat, should have just grabbed his coat, go out there and take the ball away. Say, you know what? I'm out of here.
The biggest
Game's event's over. Go home, people.
The biggest pop of the night would have been someone walking up, taking the ball and leaving, knifing the ball, knifing it, knifing the ball, dude, and then just walking off. Someone tried to grab another ball, you snatch it and knife the ball. That would be the biggest pop of the night. Get out of here, dude. That was horrible. It was horrible. If someone knifed the ball, they would have got the biggest pop of the night. Literally and figuratively.
That would have been awesome.
Oh, dude.
Especially if it had been Cream. Just
I would have led the show with it. What are you talking about? It would have been a video lead. I wouldn't even have did audio lead. I'd have just put a video on.
Oh, Cream going through.
Yeah, someone running up and spiking
As
that
mild
thing.
manners Cream is, and just kind of like, easy going on. He just goes, I don't know.
Well, and I feel like you'd have like some kind of ninja weapon in his hand. He'd like have like a butterfly knife. He'd be like,
That's right.
put it back. Hand him the ball. He'd have his hand, and he
right.
wouldn't even say a word. He'd just be.
Remember, he did fight Bruce Lee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I saw Enter the Dragon. Or whatever it was.
That was Return of the Dragon. Or no, Game of Death.
Game of Death, thank you.
That's when Bruce Lee
Game
had
of
that
Death.
whip badass
Yes.
yellow and black.
Yeah, black
stripe,
outfit, yes. That's where they got the
bodysuit.
Kill Bill gimmick from.
Yeah, which they
stole-
exactly
yeah.
stole it from
Yep.
Bruce Lee.
Yep.
But yeah, the game was just, I'm like, I'm not watching it because I know, what it's been for the last 15 years. It's just been a train wreck.
Yep.
And I basically said is, you know what? And again, All-Star games are a joke anyways, but I'm going to rate the top 4 All-Star games: MLB, NHL, NBA, NFL, because the NFL was terrible. I mean, it's got fact too. They don't play defense. It's like flag football.
Well, and to me though, can you blame them?
Oh, I wouldn't blame the players. I don't blame the players
So,
at all.
and that's
It's
why
like,
it
dude, I'm
turns
not going
into
to get
that.
it. Then just do away with it.
Right. I agree. I think that if you're going to do like an all-star thing, this is how you do it. Like you have a ceremony where you name them all. You do a big thing. You have like a fan-friendly event around a town or wherever you're doing this thing. You do stuff for kids. You try to give back. So like now you're going to have like maybe you'll have some daytime ESPN spots or something for TV where you've got like these quarterbacks out throwing routes with kids and doing that kind of stuff, and then you have the skills competition that day, and so you air that on TV, and you find some creative ways to kind of do that stuff, and then you just kind of make it that. You don't make it about a bullshit exhibition football game that no one wants to play because they can't afford to get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, you could do some really cool skills events on there.
That's what I'm saying. You could do some skills stuff and in coordination with a thing that's all around, the Play 60 or whatever they're doing for the kids now, right? And then you go out and you have this whole event, and now you've got all these TV spots where you showing them doing doing stuff with the kids and doing this and that, and you got spots that you can run kind of all day long while you're doing your all-star thing, right? So you've got the all-star festivities, so you're going to have the talent. So you set up you could do all the pre-show stuff. So let's say you're the NFL Network. We'll just stay with the NFL Network, right? So you start up in the morning with like whoever your hot talk show guy is that usually fits in that spot in that day that does a thing about the NFL, whatever your morning show is going to be on the weekend, and then that leads into some TV spots where they're setting up with the kids thing, and here's our gimmick, and here's our setup, and our reporters out there, and we're doing this, and now you're doing a studio show, and then now you go back out and you're showing all these spots and this different stuff, and then you're going to have the skills competition, so you're going to break that down and have that event. So then you go to you broadcast that, and that takes a couple of hours, and you do that stuff. Then you come back and you do the follow-up. Oh, what did we see? What was going on? Oh, the goopy stuff, NFL news, show more of those spots, we'll do it with the kids. So now you've filled 6 hours of the middle of your day programming with something that people will actually watch, as opposed to taking like this whole NFL all-star kind of thing that is nothing. It's you make a weekend out of something that nobody watches. As far as the Pro Bowl goes, it's even the same thing with the NBA. The game's the same kind of way. You can come in and do a 3-point contest. You could do some 3-on-3. Why do we have a 3-on-3 game? Why don't we have? Remember when they did like when we were on quarantine and cats were playing like horse and shit?
Yeah.
Dude, I want to see Steph Curry, Dame Lillard. I want to see these guys play horse, dude.
Right.
That would be out cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it kind of hip-hoppy, get Ice Cube in on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, make it young and fun. Like, what am I missing here?
Horse.
Dude? Because the game is horse shit.
Yes, because, the Steph's shooting from 3-court.
Anyway, yeah. Let him do it here when it's worth some money, right?
And it's like, oh, yeah, guess what? No, nothing but net.
Right.
You go, oh, hell, I can't even use the backboard now.
Right.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would be so fun, man. You could do so much with that. And then you've got the 3-point shooting contest. And, if you're going to keep the dunk contest, it needs to be completely revamped. To me, I think it just needs to take a hiatus.
Yes.
Dip it for a few years. Kind of revamp how the rules are and how you're going to play it out. Think it through. Take some time. Let people fondly remember it, as in the fact that, I don't really miss it. I don't really miss it. I don't really miss it. And then this year, you're going to start showing all the good ones on reel. You're like, oh, well, the slam dunks, why'd they get rid of them again?
Yeah, like the 86 slam dunk when
Yeah.
it was mad with Jordan versus Dominique.
Dude, you could even go over to Vince Carter
Oh, yeah.
and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, again, when Spud Webb won the slam dunk contest. I mean, dude.
So you could do all that stuff, and then people go, why did we get rid of the slam dunk contest again?
And then you show the 2022 and you go, oh.
No, you don't do that.
You
Because
burn that.
Yeah, all that shit's gone. And then you come back after a few years of being gone and a couple of years of kind of showing, like, this is how it used to be, but now this is what we're doing. But this was the fun stuff of the past. And they're like, why did we get rid of the dunk contest? And you go, well, we're gonna revitalize it this year because people have been talking about it, but we're just gonna make a few changes to kind of pick up the pace and make it a little bit more exciting, and then repackage it, bring it back in 5 years or whatever after 3 years of being gone and 2 years of pumping it with the old stuff. Kind of say, hey, remember how cool it used to be? We're gonna make it cool again. Dude, it's all subliminal.
They had a video out there, and again on there, but I believe it was Ichiro. Just because he's all gray hair, and he's throwing it from home plate to center field, and he's got like a Gatorade bottle sitting on the top of the wall there in center field, and he throws it. Doesn't knock it down. He throws it, and it hits the damn cap, and the cap spins off it.
Right.
He does it like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
And you go, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's freaking unhuman. Then he's throwing, basically, from dead center, man, throwing it into a 5-gallon bucket. Boom.
Yeah.
No hop, nothing. Boom.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's so many different like games and stuff you could come up with, and then you could almost make it like like a triathlon of goofy
And again,
sports.
give it a couple years.
Like,
you know what? Make the slam dunk. Raise the freaking basket to 11 feet or 12 feet. Make it on there where you don't have to do these stupid gimmicky on there.
Well, it's not even that, because what you could do is you could change it. You could change it up. You got to be creative, right? So let's say it's going to be a point system, and instead of like a rating system,
right?
Like, so you get a point because for difficulty, you get so many points for difficulty. You get some, and they come up with a rating system where there's certain criteria that you have to meet to get those numbers, right? And then cats will just do stuff because they know they can get more points for it.
And if you miss it, you get nothing.
Right.
You don't get, it's a great honor,
Sure.
great temp honor. No.
Right.
0.
Yeah, you're better off doing something you'll
can
stick.
make.
Yeah, you'll stick, because if it looks really good, you'll get more points.
Right.
Instead of like, okay, it doesn't matter that I missed 10 of them. I just have to wow them one time.
Right.
And that doesn't work.
No, I don't get that. No. You
missed
it, you don't get any points on it. You don't get the win if you miss your final dunk.
Right.
And the other guy nails one on there and knows he doesn't come. I'm like, bullshit.
So you come up
Okay, you give him points. You didn't make it.
So you come up with categories, and within the category, you got to check certain boxes, and there's a point for each box and subcategory. So you just have a card every time, and then you just check certain ones, and then certain points are going to be kind of given, and then you kind of get a better system to where, and then if you miss, then there's nothing to fill out.
Whereas again, the NHL has gotten at least a little better on there over the time. That's why I moved it up to number 2, because at least they're doing the 3-on-3, and they're doing like divisions on there, and then basically kind of like having a little mini tournament on there. Sure. That's cool. The NHL skills competition on there, which is the day before the All-Star game, it's actually pretty cool because they got the fastest skater, hardest slap shot. The guys are hitting the pie plates on there with it on there, and you get your dekes and everything with it. Those are pretty cool. The previous on there, the All-Star game was pretty terrible, but like the NFL is like, dude, just do away with it. As you said, just go with honor. MLB, guess what? No more interleague play. Get it back where the American League and National League don't play each other except the basically All-Star game and into the World Series. Right. Where they get back to where they don't like each other. Yeah. That's what was great about the 70s and 80s. Right. They just didn't like each other. Right. And those were great games.
Baseball's got a whole nother monster.
They got another debacle anyways because they got the lockout on there.
Oh, and we'll get into that. There's plenty to talk baseball.
Oh, God, yeah. We'll get into that because I'll get into some of the things that's going on there with the debacle that's going on with baseball and their negotiations out there. And just the optics of some of the players showing up and everything. I'm like, really, dudes?
Well, look, dude, that sport is going away. That sport's going to fade away.
Well, that's what happens when you have a commissioner that actually hates the sport.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but like it'll outlive us still, Moose, so we won't see its final demise, but it's going away. Baseball's going to go away at some point.
Yeah. Which is a shame because I love the game.
Yeah, we won't be around to see it. I don't want fans to freak out and be like, "What do you mean baseball's going away?" No, like the sport as a televised, viable commodity,
major top 4 sport is going to be.
Yeah, it'll be gone. We won't see it. I don't think in our lifetime, Moose, but I think as we fade off, our kids and grandkids, it won't be anything that they
really
watch.
What is it's as you've been saying for years, it's a regional sport.
Yeah. So no one will care unless you're. It's kind of like soccer in Orlando. They don't have anything else, so they get excited about soccer, and even though it's not even really good, they just kind of watch
USFL in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah. It's just like And so it's going to turn into one of those things where, maybe if your team's good, you might watch it. If you don't have any other sports in your town, but baseball's not going to be a thing. Big money TV contracts, all that stuff's going to go away. They're imploding right before their very eyes. They're very, at this point, I'm not even sure how they're viable because the fan base is dwindled. You know what? It's got to be such a staunch fan base that's pulling television numbers, and it's got to be all the older, generation, and they're determined to watch the games and really make sure that those ratings are there. Because when you look inside ballparks of even good teams that have been perennial good teams, and you look at the topics and you look at what clicks and you look at what all the different metrics that you look at, baseball doesn't hit any of them.
No.
They really don't. I mean, with the older generation, if you are 50 and above, then this conversation doesn't apply to you. You came up in a generation where baseball was baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball's been a mess for quite a
Baseball
while.
was actually, I was at that tail end where baseball was bigger than football.
Sure.
On it, and I was basically when it got surpassed and everything with it, but yeah, I mean the World Series are huge draws.
Yeah.
I mean, if your team was in the World Series, it was but then again, as you actually had afternoon games in the World Series during a weekday. And again, I'd race home and basically click on, man. I got my on. Oh, where's the radio, man? Oh, you got the transistor? Go. Well, listen, we'll walk home from school, got the radio on. I mean, with stuff like that, you don't get that anymore.
Right.
Because everything's primed. It doesn't start till 8:30. It's like, seriously, guys, let's start the game at the West Coast. Bleep the West Coast. Come on. Majority of the damn population of the U.S. lives east of the Mississippi.
All right.
You can start the damn game. You have pregame at, say, I don't know, starting at 7, start the game at 8, and you're done by 11. But there's midnight stuff during the weekday. Kids can't stay up and watch it.
Right. So the next generation doesn't catch on.
Right. I mean, I was basically watching on black and white TV in 1975 in my bedroom with the sound turned down to like nothing, watching, Game 6 of the Red Sox versus the Reds. Yeah, I remember staying up. Oh, yeah, I got to stay up, man. Those in 10 innings. Fisk hits the home run, goes down. Oh, my God, he hit the home run. Get yelled at. Turn the TV off.
So check this out.
But then you talked about it all next day.
Right.
Like, oh, my God, oh, my God. Nowadays, nobody cares.
So check this out. So we've got, the 4 major sports, and we've got all these other subgenres of sports that everybody loves that are all great sports. The key to all sports success is the next generation. Yeah. What you should always be targeting as a major entity in a sport that makes you money is to how you get the next generation. How do you get kids involved in it? That's your number one priority. Not only because you need to ensure the future, but let's be honest, they influence the way money flows. If the kids want this and the kids push for it, the parents buy it. The parents spend money. They get invested in it. Maybe they like it. Maybe they start spending money. So if you hook the kids, you will hook the parents if you could never hook the parents before.
Right.
So you always want to catch kids. And once again, it ensures the future of the sport. So what happens is with baseball, nobody cares. And it's not put out there like that. And it's not... there's not the big matchups and the promote. We talked about it before. They promote nobody. They push nobody to market nothing, and they push nobody from a PR standpoint. They have no face of baseball. None of that shit. As far as the league is concerned and how they promote and advertise and push the sport and try to grow the sport for the next generation, they do nothing. And so. Theirs is a little bit different than football, as to where football has got, health and safety issues that are concerning parents, to which in turn they're not allowing their children to play at a young age. And so you lose, players because of that, future players because of that. So it's two different monsters. So the latter is easier to deal with, right? Because you can come up with ways and rules and regulation and equipment and different things to regulate safety and make something safer. And I argue that doesn't matter because the growth of well, we've got professional wrestling here, but of combat sports, the exponential growth of combat sports over the last 20 years is evidence that, I'll let my kid beat another man with his bare hands.
Right.
I'm cool with them learning how to do that. You get a concussion every time out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like but they won't let you play football because of
yeah. And I think also,
so I think I just, my whole point is those are all things that can be overcome. Baseball has an issue that I don't see being overcome.
no. And I think the whole aspect too is the baseball has done a disservice really to the inner city kids on there, because again, there's no leagues out there set up. I mean, it's all about travel ball and on there with it, not even high school ball. It's travel ball.
Sure.
You know, you're working year-round travel ball. So you have to have money on it. So it's suddenly
It's all sports though.
It's
like
all
that.
pretty much sports on there with it. And again, basketball, it's with AAU, and on their hockey,
Well,
travel hockey. But you know what it is too is with even the kids that aren't that love the game and aren't good enough to play travel ball with it, like in basketball, you can still grab a ball, go down to a court, and play some games. You don't see anybody playing baseball at a diamond, basically in a park.
This is the thing: is with baseball, you need other people. With basketball, to be honest, you could ride without even a hoop for a long time. You just working on your handle and dribbling a basketball and doing all that.
Crossovers between the legs.
Yeah, and playing around, just getting used to your handles, moving the ball, working the ball in your hands, your crossover, your dribble, your stance, your gait, how you drive right, how you drive left, being able to switch hands, how you would dish with this hand, that hand, off balance, so like all these different things before you ever shoot it towards a hoop. And that's the key with a sport, is that there's a little bit of something for everybody and that it is attainable and affordable. Basketball is literally the only one that checks all those boxes.
Right.
So, and I make the argument that is a barrier for every sport. So the sport out of the major four who struggles the most from a popularity standpoint would be hockey. Consequently, the most expensive sport to be involved in, because your equipment alone is like a mortgage payment,
and ice time is outrageous.
And and then your kids outgrow it in a week,
right? And then we got a game or we got practice. What time is it? 4 a.m. What?
Yeah, right.
Honest with it.
So
I mean, you can still find areas too where basically you go play some pond hockey in the wintertime with it. I mean, flood a backyard, make a little rink out there, and you can do little stuff like that. But nobody plays baseball on there. We play football. I mean, heck, I didn't play organized football on there, but we played football.
Sure.
Saturday, go there.
Right.
Tackle, no pads, no helmet, nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody got hurt. Too bad.
No. Everyone's
baseball. Guess what? After school. Hey, meet us at the farmers field there at 4:00. We'll be there on there. Oh, we only got 6 on 6. Well, guess what? Right field's out. But I'm a left-handed batter. You better learn how to hit to the opposite field, pal, because it's out. Damn it. With it. And you could do something. You get basketball, 1-on-1, 2-on-2. You could just go in someone's yard. They got a basketball hoop. It didn't cost anything to put one up, really.
All right.
Or you go to the park. I mean, you're on there, the old hoop with no damn net on there, or it's a freaking chain link on there with the net. You do that.
Shoot, a milk crate stapled to the...
Yeah, cut out the milk crate, put it out there, nail it, screw it into a backboard. Yeah, there we go. But baseball, nobody plays it, just play it for fun.
No. Well, once again...
So you're losing the fan base on there, but then you're basically alienated a whole inner city on basically for a better part of 3 decades. Sure. So you've lost a third of your players.
Right, because you have no next generation.
No coming up.
And so now what happens is that generation has kids and they don't even consider your sport.
No.
So it's not on the TV.
Yeah, they're playing football, they're playing basketball.
Yeah, it's not nothing that they ever watched. It's not anything that anybody talked about. It's not anything that was ever even in their orbit now. And so once you start getting a generation removed, you're in trouble. And if you look at it, they're almost 2 generations removed now.
Yeah. And again, as they say, when we make fun of it, but you wonder why soccer is the biggest sport worldwide. Because all you need is a freaking ball.
Yeah.
You don't even need shoes.
Nope.
A ball and a field.
You just need a ball in your space. Those guys
Yeah.
will just bounce that ball and work that ball around.
Work that ball.
in their
You're going
space.
into basically a dirt lot playing soccer.
Yeah. Now all you need is a fairly inflated ball in the space within your shoulders.
Yeah.
Because you can just bounce the ball like a hacky sack,
It doesn't cost anything.
and it costs nothing. So yeah, you can literally take and do that anywhere at any time. And it's the same thing with the basketball. It's really not, other than you need to find a rim. But you can do it so cheap. And like I said, there's a million and one things you can do before you ever get near shooting a ball.
Right.
So, and so, yeah, because that's like what we would do while we were waiting maybe to get access to a court or get to my buddy's house for a hoop or do whatever. You just work on your handles, your dribbles, and goofing around with crossovers and passes and goofy trick dribbles and stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
You can do that forever. Same thing with soccer. You could just sit there and bounce it off your head and do all these crazy kicks and just to do it, and you can do that all within your own little space. So but the key is to market it too as well and make it and captivate people. See, the thing about a football game, you could get a game going with a $7 football, and
hell yeah.
and that's fun and that's good, and that's why you can turn that around, right? Like
right.
if the younger fan base started dwindling, and then you could turn that around, because it's an easy sport to, if you do the right marketing, you do the right research, and you do all the right things, you can say, hey, here's a $7 football, have fun, and kids will do it.
Play touch football in the middle of the street. Car,
right.
Game off.
Right.
All right, car go by. Game on. Okay.
Yeah. So
Curb the curb was your field. From that car to that car, that's field on there.
Yeah.
Two completions for a first down. 5 apple count to rush the quarterback. 2 on 2.
Yeah.
3
So
on 3.
like that, you can bring all that back. You can recover from that. But if people lose interest and they're not playing because of interest, then that's the problem. Because once again, baseball's not uber expensive.
No.
Baseball doesn't have a huge injury rate that you have to worry about.
No, because it's basically on there. You just got them.
So those aren't the ones that you're struggling with. You're struggling with people just flat out being interested in your gosh dang
Just
sport.
to tune the game on.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God. I mean, it's like I'm down there. It's like I don't watch a ton of baseball in there. I mean, I watch that, but it's a radio thing. It's like, all right, I'm outside. All right, we're gonna get it. You know what? It's a great evening in the summertime. We're sitting outside having a cocktail or whatever.
Sure.
Turn the game on.
Yeah.
But I'm at that age.
Sure.
Now, if I'm younger, I don't know. It's boring, and that's what it is. It's with it. But again, you have they've done everything they could to destroy the sport. This current commission, Rob Manfred, has done everything in his power to destroy the sport. And the players, I mean, again, like today they're on there and they said his Matt Scherzer showed up just to watch some of the guys in the minor leagues in spring training, showed up in his Porsche and that. And it's like, and he's complaining about, the lockout and everything. Money. I'm like, dude, showing up in a freaking $150,000 car, complaining about money, it's a bad optics.
Yeah.
And it's direct. And
not a good look.
And of course, Rob, one of the guys on writers say, well, it's whatever. I said, dude, this is the exact same thing in 1981 when Steve Kemp and there's a story, and they had a picture of him in the Detroit News when the baseball strike's on there. He's washing his Porsche, complaining about money. Dude, there is a recession going on. Half these people aren't even working right now because they're laid off at the auto plants because we're in a recession, and you're complaining about money while washing a Porsche?
All right.
Dude, bad optics.
Oh, out of touch.
You've lost touch with reality
in
your fan base.
Yeah.
The same thing's going on. Players on there. Dude,
Yep.
Max, you made $40 million a freaking year and you're complaining about money?
Yeah.
Don't give me that. You're going to make $80 million over the next 2 years.
Yep.
Don't complain about this crap, dude.
It's just once again, woefully out of touch with just reality of what's going on around him. It's like, dude, like, stop. Come on now. But that's what happens. So I don't know. I don't know what baseball is going to do, but they got a huge ass mess in front of them.
Oh, God. Yeah, they said as if they don't get a agreement by Monday, it's going to be a shortened season or delayed on there.
This is this they can't afford to have these strike shortened season and player stoppage workers. Dude, people are going to turn on them and revolt on baseball.
Oh yeah. I mean, it took basically is after when they canceled the World Series in '94, I was like, I'm done. And it took basically Cal Ripken. I mean, I tuned in to watch when he broke the Lou Gehrig's record, but it took the '98 season when it was McGuire and Sosa battling it out for the home run.
Yeah, we had the steroid era.
It was, but you know what? I didn't care.
I know.
It took the steroid era because I was entertained. I'm like, damn it, I'm going to watch this because you got two guys, man. You go, damn it, I need to see this.
Right.
Because they were hitting bombs every night. You go, oh my God, this is insane.
Yep. So that's.
But I didn't care. We all knew they were Jews. Who cares?
Yeah,
entertain me.
That kind of this time. Well, we talk about it all the time. But hey, man, that just proves my point as far as baseball not having any integrity. They knew they had to save.
Of course they did.
They knew they had to save their sport. Their sport was dead on the vine.
And these guys are doing it, and they're shooting up, and they
allowed
didn't
them.
care. Well,
they're like,
go
good.
ahead, do it.
They're like, good. Save my sport.
Count my money as I'm selling out the stadium. Because if it was like, again, whether the Cardinals or the Cubs are coming into town, guess what? They're in town. I'm going all three. You know what? I'm going at least one game in this. They would sell out.
Well, you're not going to have another steroid era.
You're
not going to have another steroid era to save you this time. So I don't know what they're going to do.
Nope.
And having a work stoppage and the way this is all playing out. And I'm sorry. Well, you have millionaires fighting with millionaires.
Billionaires.
Yeah, billionaires. Well, this is what it is. It's billionaires fighting with billionaires over millions.
Right. Because you know why? The owners can't help themselves to be basically just to be realistic on their budgets and that.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to do this. And it's like basically you got big market teams and you have the small market teams, and the big market teams just don't care. And then they complain about, oh my God, I don't have any money. Well, again, did we tell you to sign that guy for 10 years at $300 million?
Yeah, you did the shitty. But yeah, I mean.
You're the one who ran a bad business model, not me.
Well, and that's why.
And again, some aspects, I'm not blaming the player. Hey, if he's paying me the money, I'm not going to say no.
Well, and once again, that's why salary caps are necessary.
Yes.
I just
it needs to go to a hard cap.
Yeah.
And plain and simple. But also too, with that hard cap is you better have a hard bottom too.
Yeah.
Because there are teams. I mean, getting a lot like Tigers had what? Their payroll was what, $50 million last year, and 35 of it was Miggy.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you can't do that
either.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what the NFL's got, the hard cap. I mean, why is the NFL king? Hard cap, bottom and top. Because again, you get teams like Cincinnati and them cheap SOB with Mike Brown. Yep. He's not going to spend the money if he didn't have to.
Nope.
Now he's got to at least spend a certain amount of money.
Yep. And what happens is it creates parity throughout the league.
That's right.
And that's what you want, right? So
everybody's got a shot.
Everybody's got an opportunity. Yeah.
Except the Lions.
Well, right. But once again, ownership is futile there. It is really just one of those things. But to me, it seems super obvious. I don't know, how they're going to fix it, though. They just never have. To me, it's about the youth target. We talked about the All-Star game and doing all that stuff. I think baseball probably has one of the better All-Star games, if not the best one. In the fact that you have a great opportunity to get kids and stuff involved in your product and do it. They do no marketing whatsoever. They need that to be fixed. I think really if they do all that, there's a chance, but it doesn't feel like. And then I think they need a couple of rule changes, pace of play kind of improvements for that game, for that sport. But they seem pretty much not even worried about doing that. They're too busy arguing over money.
Right.
And that ultimately is not going to play with the fan base. And it's a recipe for complete and utter disaster. This is, like I said, I think that baseball, if they do not get this together and there's any kind of extended shutdown of the season, or God forbid they cancel the World Series.
If they cancel the World Series, the sport's dead.
I was
It
about to
goes
say
from basically a 40-year window under, it accelerates to 5.
right. I was gonna say then you're like almost like that's like the cancer that kills it's just right there. You're almost dead. So, but they don't seem like they've got any desire to fix those things or address any of those issues. They've proven not completely adept in doing that. And like I said, almost 2 generations of sport. I mean, since the steroid era, they've done nothing.
Right.
And they didn't even do anything during that time, really. It was just the sheer numbers that drew people into watching. What happened was people are like, are you seeing this? And calling their friends. And then the friends would turn on the game. And they'd be like, dude, I can't believe this is happening. And then they turn on the game.
Right.
They call their friend and they turn on the game. They call their friends and they turn on the game. And that's
the same thing is when you're
watching.
if you're watching a baseball game and it's a no hitter, man, you're calling everybody up. Hey, you need to turn it on. What's going on? I can't tell you. You need to turn it on because what do? You don't talk about a no hitter till the game's over or the no hitter is no longer a no hitter.
Yeah.
Because if you mention that, especially if you're at the game, oh my God, there's a no hitter. You know what? That automatically basically flows up the flag and says, "Kick my ass."
I almost did that. It's so funny because I was at the Galarraga no that got robbed.
Yeah.
And so it was nobody realized it was so wild. We're in the game and you could feel it in the build. We're in the 7th inning and nobody realized it was a no at this point.
Not just a no, it was a perfect game.
All right. And nobody's got a clue. Then all of a sudden it gets into 7th inning here and people are going, you could feel it start to change. And all of a sudden no one said anything, but you could tell that people were starting to pick up on it.
Yeah.
That, oh, what do we got here? And they're starting to more intently watch. And then you're looking at the guy next to you and going, why are we oh, that's why we're intently watching. I've now looked at the scoreboard and we've got a no rolling.
Yeah.
But you're not really thinking about that.
No, but you definitely don't say anything about it.
No, exactly. And when I had my moment, right, where I was like, it wasn't real palpable yet, but I was like, and I looked over at the thing and I went, I did a gasp and I almost felt bad for that. Like I was like, it wasn't audible enough in the crowd, but like here you could hear it, but like with everybody there, no one ever heard that. But I literally had to take a breath because it took it from me when I looked at the thing and no one had said anything. And then all of a sudden it was like the next inning kicked in and then you could feel the energy change and everybody was kind of, watching the game. And then when it got to the end, it was ugly.
Now, former host here, Scotty Super Genius, was at a game on there and he says there was a no hitter going on and he goes, all sitting there and some guy goes, oh, wow, look, there's a no hitter. And next guy gets a hit. And then Scott just lets off a barrage of F-bombs and just screaming at the guy. What the is wrong with you? Just screaming at him. And the guy goes, what? And all of a sudden everybody else started screaming at the guy. What the hell's wrong with you? Are you fucking stupid? I mean, seriously, what the hell? You don't talk about a no-hitter unless it's over or the game. There's no longer a no-hitter. Dude, don't you know the rules?
No.
The guy's like, and his buddy's like embarrassed, like, oh my God, I can't believe I brought this idiot with me. We got to go. Well, I'm not. No, we're going now because you're going to get your ass beat.
Yeah.
On it. And that's the guy again with that. But yeah, if you're watching again, I've done it too. I've watched again. Holy crap.
Uh-huh.
Or I've been on there and all of a sudden I'll get a text. Hey, you need to turn the game on.
Right.
You need to turn the game on. Again, Verlander is on. I'm like, holy crap. And I'm like, holy shit. And then I'm like, oh my God. It's like with it. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
There's nothing on there. But it's just that, you're just that into, you go, oh, you're on every pitch. And you just go, oh man, this is
and that's that I was at it being in the building, like I said, that palpable.
But it being in the building, just the energy you just
everybody does it at once almost, it felt like. Like I was a little bit just a touch ahead of the crowd where I was like, I had this weird feeling in my head, and I'm like, wait a minute. I just looked across up at the scoreboard, and I went, oh, well.
I mean,
and again,
especially
and then all of a sudden you could feel it in the building.
Especially players too. They're in the dugout. They know what's going on, and they're like just moving away from the pitcher. They don't even sit next to the pitcher,
Right.
because they don't want to say something.
Yep.
It's like, if he doesn't know it, I'm not saying a damn word.
Yep.
With it, and all of a sudden,
funny.
you know, with there. So
Nice.
with that, but yeah, I mean, that's what's great about
So-
baseball. But Jesus, they can't.
They
They're
can't get out of
killing
the,
it.
they can't get out of their own way. Yeah, yep. They can't get out of their own way, and it's a total debacle here. So I don't know. They better get it together, man, because the consensus is people are not.
No,
They're not feeling this.
it is. I mean, it's on it because at least it's one of the most affordable games to at least go to, because you can at least get tickets, especially the secondary market, reasonable. But here we're lucky because we've got Jimmy John's, which is again a instructional minor league. Really is
Oh yeah, right.
conference where
yeah.
there's 4 teams there, so it's on there. Now they're doing one in Brighton, the same thing. So it's at least you can watch it. And again, going up there, it's like $8 for a ticket. It's not bad, with it. And even the beer price are pretty good. And then you got minor league teams are within an hour drive. You can go see minor league teams, reasonable price. But Jesus, I mean, come on, guys. With that,
But yeah, so like I said, I don't know. I just I hope they can get it together. So we've got. I want to dive into. I want to get away from the All-Star stuff and still do some more NBA. But we got a lot of stuff to get into.
oh yeah.
But I want to get into something. I mean, the CP3 injury timing is bad, so a little bit of that. But we were talking about LA and the thing. I want to talk about the financial situation, because now you've got the deadline. We got the same thing with Philly, Brooklyn. We got a little bit there.
Yeah, we got
So-
lots more to talk about, and we'll get into a little bit of a hockey as well, and we'll make fun of the USFL and everything with it,
Yes.
with their draft and
35 round draft.
which is like the old days on there with it. So we'll be back here on the flip side. We are DSR2 Studio 57 Radio.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, Scrappy here to tell you about That Radio Show. Hang with me as I break down the world of entertainment with great guests, celebrity interviews, awesome games with wonderful prizes. Also, we've got the biggest library of underground hip-hop of any station on the net. You mix in a little stand-up comedy and a text line so your voice can be heard, and you got a pretty good little show. But add listener-controlled programming? Yeah, you heard me. Listener-controlled programming, where you, the listener, can decide what makes it on the air. And now you've got the greatest show ever created. So join my show, your show, our show, the people's show, That Radio Show, each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only here on Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Big D, here to tell you about Mark for Life Tattoos. Guys, this place is the cleanest, most laid-back studio in Metro Detroit, and the artists are top-notch. And if you're like me from the D, you need to stop in on Fridays for that D-Day and get your old English D for only $20. Not interested in tattoos? Mark for Life does body piercings. Mark for Life is located at 22533 Van Dyke in Warren, and the guys are there 7 days a week from noon to 9. So give them a call at 757-2222. That's 586-757-2222. Tell them Studio 57 sent you and get 20% off. So what are you waiting for? Call them now.
Hey everybody, Smokey here to tell you about Allstate Tire. With winter fast approaching, the most important thing between you and the road is your tires. So don't put your safety in just anybody's hands. Go to Allstate Tire. With new and quality used tires available, you can trust Allstate Tire for all your tire needs. You can visit them at 14208 9 Mile Road in Warren, or give them a call at 586-779-8759. Allstate Tire, your source for quality new and used tires.
What's happening, everybody? Scrappy here to tell you about Love and Life Club. Love and Life Club is a social networking club that's located at 19960 James Cousins. That's the Lodge Service Drive between 7 and 8 Mile Road in the D. You need to stop in for $5 Fridays for great music, food, and drinks. I personally recommend the chicken. Love and Life Club is also available for rental for bachelor parties, wedding receptions, or any party for that matter. For more information, log on to www.loveandlifeclub.com. That's loveandlifeclub.com, or call D at 313-999-2824. That's 313-999-2824. That's Love and Life Club. If you're loving life, you need to be in the club.
Taking over this broadcast for the ultimate underground.
Studio 57 Radio Original. You know, when you hear that sound, you're gonna have a good time, because that's the sound of the ultimate underground live concert webcast from the Detroit area. We go to the most famous, or should I say, infamous venues in the D, and bring the underground music scene from the streets to your computer like nobody else can. There's only one catch. You never know when and where the ultimate underground is going to take over a broadcast. So you need to stay tuned to Studio 57 Radio all day, every day, for clues on when and where the next ultimate underground may happen. Now, there's no other station on the net that's going to give you this live webcast of some of the hottest artists in the D. That's the ultimate underground live on your home for hip-hop, rock and metal, Studio 57 Radio, baby.
Goodbye.
You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering on great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. Studio 57 is a 32-track digital recording studio that utilizes Cool Edit, Logic Pro, Shure, AKG, Sennheiser, Yamaha, Korg, Mackie, Boss, Ibanez, Fender, Fruity Loops, and many, many more to make your music pop. Experienced and friendly engineers make Studio 57 feel like you're home away from home. With beat creation, mixing, mastering, digital media conversion, and DJs for any event, Studio 57 Records is your one-stop shop for all your music entertainment needs. We have online bill pay and flexible payment schedules. That makes Studio 57 the place to be. For more information, visit Studio57records.com. That's www.studio57records.com or call us at 586-420-3390. That's 586-420-3390 or log on to Studio57records.com. And just remember one thing, baby. You get what you want because we got what you need. Studio 57 serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering on great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want because we got what you need. Studio 57 serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering on great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Oh, yeah, one of these days we'll do a podcast of, like, pop culture stuff. Me and Moose, quite often in our halftime, shooting the poop here, we talk everything but sports. And we went down the old DC rabbit hole this time. We've been down the Marvel rabbit hole a million times and others as well. It just happened to be DC this time, so... Yeah, one of these days I would maybe just do that for fun, but we do so much stuff, and we got so much stuff in sports to talk about. It's like we just get wrapped up when we're doing this thing, and the whole first hour we got all caught up, and we did our thing, and we didn't even get into the whole debacle that is the actual NBA season. So we got a little bit of that. We got some NHL. There's plenty of things to get into, and after the whole Olympics and the way people responded to that debacle, I finally feel vindicated. I'm not the only one that is like anti-American and hates children and puppies and all that other nonsense that Moose says. That isn't true, but everything else we say here will be true as we move forward in hour two. So without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2 in hour two. I am Scrappy and here is Johnny the Mouse.
Hey, we're back here for the second hour with me and the known anti-American communist and puppy hater, Scrappy, there for a second. What's it like there in the Kremlin there, Scrappy?
Hey, man, I'm about to take over a whole other country. What you talking about?
So we got lots here to talk about still first hour. Again, we talked about the All-Star game, the debacle that was that. Debacle definitely that was the slam dunk competition and all sorts of fun stuff there. But we still got lots here to talk about. We do have a final here for those that are following college basketball. Michigan will beat Rutgers 71-62.
No way.
Yep.
I did not think they would beat Rutgers, and I thought that would be the unraveling. We didn't quite get into that. We touched on it in the whip around in the beginning, but not a whole lot. I did not think after losing two guys and your coach that you would beat a Rutgers team
that won 4 in a row.
Yeah, that's been playing really well, and
they
quite frankly is like probably your biggest issue moving forward. Like we talked about earlier, Moose, you're like, if you go 4-1, have a good showing in the Big Ten tournament, you may have a chance to get in. But you probably, in my opinion, you need to win the Big Ten tournament to guarantee it. But But this is a big step I didn't think they'd get done.
Right.
So that is in the right direction.
But they got some tough matchups there. Good news is I think the last 4 games were at home in that because when they had the recancellation games in it, those were home games early in the season with COVID. And so they're getting the makeup games, but everything is at home for the finals. So we'll see there. But yeah, Michigan realistically to have a chance under has to probably at least go, well, they've already won this one. So the last 4 games, they're going to have to go 3-1 and go at least to the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. They have a shot with it. Right now, it's just they're actually playing better basketball. I mean, even though they had that bad loss against Wisconsin, over the last month, they played better basketball than Michigan State has, for damn sure.
Yeah, well, that's not,
State can't buy a bucket to save their life.
I was about to say,
I
that
mean,
ain't
the
saying much
basket
right now.
could be like 6 feet round, and they still couldn't hit a shot.
Well, and yeah, I mean, that kind of goes to my point of that doesn't say much at this point. I'm not sure what's going on. This, to me, it doesn't feel like the typical Izzo team, really the last few years. So I don't know. That's a recruiting thing. I don't know if that's a coaching thing. I don't know, which is obviously all tied into the same guy. But I'm not sure what's up with Michigan State. But for what the standard that Izzo has set at that university, they have not lived up to that in recent years, really. It feels like.
I mean,
last couple of years.
I think
at
the
least.
Izzo era is going to be coming to an end, and that I think it's just on. It's basically.
That's what I feel like.
He's
I
just-
feel like it's just running its course because I mean, how old is the guy now, and how often can you do this, and do your techniques? Can they withstand multiple decades of different student athletes coming in?
You got to progress with the times.
Yeah,
and
I mean, there's just a
I
lot
think
to it.
Izzo hasn't done that with it on there. So yeah, I mean, the way the state is right now is they're not making the tournament too. They're going to have to make a deep run in the Big Ten tournament to have a shot. In their last 4 games, I mean, they've got Purdue, Ohio State, Michigan, and Maryland. Best case scenario, I see them 2-2. I don't even know. I think they're going to go 1-3. I think Purdue's going to smoke them. Ohio State's going to smoke them. When they play Michigan at Michigan, I think Michigan's going to win because I think Phil Martelli, at least you've got experience there on the bench, and then now he's going to be head coach for the remainder of the regular season. So I do think you're not really losing much on there for coaching wise because I think Martelli really runs most of the practices.
What if?
and
Yeah, I
the
was going to say.
defense anyway.
What if I make an argument that you'll make an improvement? Because now what will happen is okay, look.
This might galvanize the team a little bit, and it might pull them together.
No, I'm going to change it. I'm going to change the narrative a little bit. Okay, so when you're in a work environment and there's like tension there from anybody in leadership, it permeates and it becomes something that puts everybody else on edge.
Yeah.
And then so the performance isn't what you want. Now, it's not necessarily bad per se, but it's not optimal. And then all of a sudden said manager is ill or takes a vacation or is gone, and somebody, his understudy, steps in and does what he does while the other guy's gone. And then that whole week or whatever it is wonderful. And everything moves smooth and goes good, and everybody performs at a high level. And it's for a short time because that's not what that guy does normally. But it was addition by subtraction because you took that tension that everybody had to cut through every day and you got it out of the way.
Right.
And you moved it and it was gone and you eliminated it. And I think there's a level of that here because let's be completely honest with the Juwan Howard thing. We touched on it a little bit, but the bottom line is in that situation, we didn't break it down, but there's a whole, and we can, there's a whole, everybody could have been adults there and no one was in that situation.
And I think, again, is it just Juwan's fault? No.
But
I think again, is what it is all right,
I don't want to break that down yet. We're going to get into that.
All right.
I want to preface this whole argument before we even get into that with this one thing. The reason I say all that stuff is because this isn't the first incident with Juwan Howard.
No.
I mean, he audibly told somebody he was going to effing kill them.
Right.
Without issue, without hesitation. So that kind of behavior from the leader of these very influential young guys that have been probably not in the best environments growing up, let's be honest about it, and have had to struggle and fight and see and do crazy kind of nutty things, and might actually be more apt to follow a guy who's fiery and does things kind of the rough and tumble way, right? They might be okay with that, but that could be problematic from a productive standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
And so now that's eliminated, and now these guys are kind of more regimented, and you're not going to have that looseness or that feel like you can just pop off and say something. That's gone. You can't. That's not around here anymore. And so those attitudes fade away, and things improve. So I'm going to make an argument that alone will elevate play.
Yeah.
And so that's my argument there. So now when you start breaking down what happened, to me, we could say all this about whatever and whatever. If you're a habitual offender, this is going to be an issue. I think it's, with the exception of there should have been more suspensions on the other side of the court. I think
it was pretty fair. Your
assistant over there in Wisconsin. He should have been suspended.
He was suspended for a game.
A game.
It should have been, I would say, 2 games or maybe 3 games with it. But again,
your job as an assistant is to de-escalate any situation, regardless of what it is. That's really your job, not to escalate it,
right?
Not to cause something, and never ever to make physical contact,
especially with a player.
So, and that's my issue. You made physical contact with, you want it one way or another. This is the way you're going to get it. You made physical contact with a student athlete,
right?
Never ever in the history of ever will it ever be okay to touch a student.
Right.
Ever.
No.
It won't. So, all of those things being said, it won't ever be okay to look and throw hands unless you feel physically threatened. And I'm sorry. I am sorry. There is no way Juwan Howard, having a 5'9", 190-pound man grab his elbow, he felt physically threatened to the point that he had to throw down. Not at any point was the health and life of a player at such a concern that he needed to throw hands, regardless of whether they were open or closed. None of that balances. None of that equals. That situation never met. The actions never met the situation. Everybody in that situation had a chance to be an adult, and they all failed. Every one of them. Every one of them. So, do I think the suspensions and the fines were fair? Yes, for the most part. But all of this stuff could have been prevented by any one of the steps in the ladder, and instead it was escalated. So as much as the most egregious thing we saw was appropriately punished, all those things that
all the secondary offenses,
all those things there made that happen. All those things prior made that happen. And that, I feel, it's just as cause to be in that same boat. Not, okay, I'll hit this guy with a brick and I'll slap you on the wrist. No, he deserved to get hit with a brick. So did that guy, and he didn't. And so that's it. Now we're parsing. We're splitting hairs. The punishment was doled out. It is what it is. I'm not like killing it, but to me, it's just a joke. And if Juwan, and the bottom line with all of this is, Wisconsin will make excuses for their guy. It'll all go away and it'll be done and over with as long as he has no more incidences. Juwan will be looked at under a microscope from now until the time he's done.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's not deservedly so, but there's definitely a different standard there. And I hate to say it, but I'm almost going to feed into it, because if he does this shit again,
He's gone.
Dude, I can't keep you here. It
No.
doesn't matter how much I like you. It doesn't matter how good you are at what you do. It doesn't matter what
Right.
staff
I
you bring
can't
in.
have you
It doesn't
here
matter how you
anymore.
recruit. I can't have this anymore, dude. We can't have. Dude, what's next? A Malice at the Palace type
Right,
of situation? That's the
that-
next. We're
that's
we're
basically-
escalating up. We're going
Right.
upward with this.
Right, and I think again, whether Ward Manuel or even some of the assistant coaches told him, listen, you're going to have to look in the mirror and on this because you're at a precipice on there. It happens again. We're going to have to let you go. I love his passion. I love his love for the game. I love his love for the university, but I can't have that again.
No.
He can't do that again. And hopefully he realizes, and again, the statement was great, but again, I want to hear it from him saying, I effed up.
Well, see-
I can't do this again. I'm embarrassed about myself, the way I handled it. I'm embarrassed because I let down my players. I let down the university. I let
Look.
down my family. I let down myself.
Look, this is the issue with that is if he adds that part of the statement to what he wrote and he says that after the game, we have
At the press conference
Right.
after the game,
If-
then we
then
don't
we're-
have an issue.
Then you know what? No, it's not even that I don't
No.
have an issue. It's okay.
I don't think he
I
gets
heard,
the five.
I, whether he gets it or not, it's an okay. All right, I got it. But you know this can't happen again, right? And that's the conversation we have. But that's not what happened. He waited 48 hours. Then he puts out a prepared, obviously prepared statement, and it didn't have any of that caveat that you put on there in there. And no, I'm not buying it. Now I'm mad. Now you're on ice. And I hate to say it because I just laid out the double standard that's going to be out there over,
Right. But
but now you fed into that,
Right. But we needed him to say that at the press conference.
right,
Immediately.
absolutely,
And he did it. He was actually belligerent.
right.
Basically is defiant. And
Yeah,
dude,
he just
that
made
was-
it worse.
That wasn't the right thing
Yeah,
to
it's
do.
a horrible look.
Now, hopefully he learned from this and he'll make the adjustments with it. Whether you can, you go to Anger Man and make classes or whatever, he's going to have to look at him and basically make sure this he doesn't do this again.
But this is the thing. He didn't learn the last time.
I know.
We escalated. Like I said, this escalated from the last incident. So these are not incidents that are tied together, but he had an incident before and it was totally uncalled for. He handled it like crap. Had to backpedal on it. We got past it, and now he's doing the same thing times 10, and then even more so when instead of he's doubled down and acts like an idiot times 100 in the press conference, and then no, he didn't learn from the last one, and he didn't even learn. It felt like while this was happening. Because it took him so long to put this garbage statement out.
Right. I don't know if it was the garbage on there, but I don't know if it's, again, maybe we'll see. We don't know what happened behind closed doors. We don't know if Ward Manuel. We don't know what Ward Manuel said to him.
Agreed.
We don't even know. Maybe basically.
Shoot, he might not even have said nothing.
Right.
How much worse would it have been if he said nothing? If the last impression we got was that post game.
Right. So we don't know what was said. We don't know if it was one of the the assistant.
He could have said, "I want to say something now," and he said, "No, let's just wait."
We don't know what Phil Martelli. I mean, maybe Phil Martelli said, "Dude, what the hell, dude?"
Right.
I came out of retirement to be on his staff with it. And
Yeah,
yeah. He may have said something to him. They're gonna. You're at a point here. Yeah. And again, I would probably say this might be what actually is Martelli might have said something to him under, and I think Juwan actually respects Martelli enough with that he may take this to heart a little bit.
Yeah,
but he's going to have a hard look in the mirror for himself with it.
Absolutely.
Now, did he deserve to get fired? No, not really, because was it Malice at the Palace? No. Was it Kermit Washington punching out Rudy T and almost killing him? No. Was it even as bad as freaking Bobby Knight choking one of his own players?
No.
Yeah,
but
but it was bad.
Yep.
It was bad, and it was a bad look for everybody involved.
Yep.
And is there a winner? No. There was everybody lost in this.
Yep. And that's kind of.
And again, did he deserve to be fired? No. But you know what? For all the Spartan fans out there, they were all chirping up on the storm, dude. let it go.
Check this
I know,
out.
we don't need 4 days of the same conversation over and over about the same incident on it.
Well, this is what it is too, and everybody has a conversation about this, and this is what we all do, right? We go, at my job, if I put my hands on somebody,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to stop you right here.
This is real world.
Well,
sport.
I'm going to look at the stuff. Okay, you said at your job, right? Okay, let's look at your job for a minute. How much revenue do you produce for your company? Just give me a ballpark on how much revenue that you produce for them. Because when you look at someone like Jalen Rose, you're producing millions of dollars in revenue for the university. Millions when you have a coach like that there.
Yeah.
That is why you pay them what you pay them. So if you went to your company and you made millions of dollars in revenue, and then you melted down and acted like an asshole and bitch slapped somebody in your office, guess what? You wouldn't get fired either.
No.
Because you produce millions of dollars in revenue. So what they will do is they will relocate people. They will do whatever. They will pay somebody off to shut them up. They will do all the things that universities do to make that go away because it's worth it to them of an investment because of what they're going to get. So if you can provide that for your job, I am willing to bet that they will do the same for you. So since we're equating all of this shit to what you do every day, let's just say, hey, boss, you know, if I worked here for all these years, whatever it is, X amount of years, and I produced, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars or tens of millions of dollars for this company, and I had a bad day and melted down and slapped somebody when I leave, they'd be like, you could slap me and you wouldn't be fired.
Right.
Because they would, you know what I'm saying? If you produce hundreds of millions of dollars or tens of millions of dollars for this company, you could slap me and I wouldn't fire you.
I'm going to
You know
go
what I'm
direct
saying?
correlation, and this is again from time gone past, but Reggie Jackson and his manager, Billy Martin, got into a brawl in the dugout, yet neither of them were gone.
Right.
I mean, they're teammates, and they got
They're
into
throwing down, yeah.
a throwdown brawl.
Yeah.
So don't give me on this. I mean, of course, you know, the old aspect of Robin Ventura charged the mound and looked to beat up a 45-year-old man. Of course, he got his ass beat.
Moose, this goes back to our old adage of if your production, your value
is
way
way higher than the
your
bullshit level, then you're not gone.
You're good.
But when that bullshit level exceeds the production level, goodbye.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Yep.
With that. So, but
that's
again,
simple.
and there'll be a time if Jawan has another meltdown and has another episode like this,
they're gonna
then
have
his
to.
bullshit level will be excited that it's not worth the headache.
Yeah. Well, it's at that point where the BS level has now been risen because now you have a PR issue that plays into this, right? Like you can't just allow this to keep happening. People are going to start losing their minds, and you're going to have boosters pulling, and you're going to have all kinds of problems. So
And other coaches are going to go after recruits. You don't want to go there because he's a loose cannon.
Right.
He may lose it.
So you're just going to you're just asking for trouble. So what happens is it's not just the 3 incidents. It's all the things all the fallout from those incidents that make the bullshit level get so high that it doesn't matter where his talent is anymore.
No.
The bullshit will be just so high that he could never out talent that BS. There's no way. So that's what it is with that. And it's pretty simple, man. I don't think you need to beat a dead horse on there. I think it's as simple as, like we said, man, everybody had an opportunity to adult in this. They didn't. They all crapped the bed on this one, and they all got appropriately punished. I personally would put a little bit more on Wisconsin just to even that out a little bit. On what's his name? I forget his name now. I forget his name.
The assistant coach is
the
difficult
assistant
name.
coach.
Guard is the head coach under.
Yeah.
And again, Guard got a fine on it. I agree with the fine. I don't think that was what he did was warranted a suspension, but a fine. But the assistant coach, the one game, probably could have been a 2 or 3 game.
Yeah, I think it should have been closer to what Jawan got because he got physical with his
If he got within a 3 game, would be close on there, but because he didn't on it. But yeah, for people calling for Jawan's stuff, like, dude, just give it a break. And again, we don't need 4 days of the same thing happening on local radio.
Well,
it's
this is the same thing. Hey, so I was full disclosure here. I was on the phone with Full Sail university for their sportscasting gimmick, and I was talking to their guy for a long time, and this kind of conversation came up, and local radio is a disaster here because it has turned into a battle of alma maters.
Yes.
So that's all it is. So everybody here in sports has graduated in sportscasting from the local university. All of them have come from the 3 or 4 universities that really put anybody out. And so it's pretty much it's Central Michigan State and Michigan for the most part, to be honest. That's a lot of the guys.
Yeah.
And so it just becomes a my school over your school thing, especially with Michigan State. And so anytime one or the other schools, the other one piles on. It definitely feels like the state piles on Michigan a little bit more because they have that. They're still sore about the little brother statements and all that nonsense from forever ago. So I still feel like, from a local radio, but it's overrun with something that, like, I don't care. Your biases, like, don't have anything to do with anything. And why are we having a conversation because this is something you want to rib about? Like, do that with your friends. Don't do that on the air. There's so many other things to be talking about. I said between that and then they turned everything over to sports betting. So now
it's Degenerate Gambler Radio.
Yeah, where they don't talk about sports. They just strictly talk about numbers and lines and Vegas and this and that. And it has nothing to do with sports and the game and who's playing and how it's going to. And they don't even. It's so stupid. They can't even use the names. They'd be like the running back from this team. From the Washington team, the running back of the Washington team will not be playing today. So it's like you can't even use specifics when you're having the conversation. And it's so convoluted and horrible to listen to. It's like it's not entertaining at all.
If you want to do a gambling show on there like once a week on there, then do a gambling show. But I don't need it every day for a half-hour segment.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like we do the sport, the fantasy sports thing, and we do the pick'ems, and we do so we get the gambling aspect of it. But we're talking about the game. We're breaking down the nuances of the game, and then giving you the reason why we like this line.
Yeah, we're on
not.
1 day a week. I mean, if we're on 5 days a week, are we going to be talking gambling every day?
Every day? No. And we only do, and the way we do it, it's not we're talking about the gambling about it.
We're not talking about the spreads. Oh, I'm going to take the we're like who's going to win the game on there, and it's about the game.
Yeah, they sit there and they're breaking down all these analytics and all these numbers and these percentages. Nobody gives a shit.
I don't care about the over under. I don't care about the whatever. I mean, again, if I'm going to be going gambling, I'll do my own research. I don't need to hear a half-hour shtick of it every day.
We joke about it, and we make fun of it. You turn it into something that's entertaining. You don't just drip out sterile numbers that people don't even understand. It's like the podcast equivalent of someone reading a ticker. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Why don't you just, why don't you just read the stock market ticker?
Yeah.
That's all you're doing.
I don't want to be Jim Cramer.
I mean, NASDAQ down 3. I mean, what do you?
But yeah, we got on there. But yeah, we got college. But this again, I think this tournament on there, the one that's coming up here in about 3 weeks or so, I think it's going to be just nuts. I think it's basically team-wise on there. I think other than the top 2 teams, I think it's going to be a craziness on there. I think you're going to have some of these mid-majors that are going to be fighting up on there with it on it. And again, as I was joking earlier today with the guys that work on there, the tournament really doesn't start till Bill Self and Kansas flames out in either the early rounds because it always happens. And on there, yeah, Bill Self's one of the best coaches. Is he really? Because again, he won 1 year at one time with Roy Williams' players.
Right.
And again, on it, so I make fun of Bill Self. It's not really the tournament until Bill Self implodes under. It's not the tournament until Purdue does their annual collapse on there because they're Purdue with it. I think this year right now there's only 2 really good teams I could see making out of the top premier programs making the finals on there, and I think it's going to be Gonzaga and Arizona. Right. Gonzaga is the best team in the country right now. They got the most all-around complete team on there. Arizona's playing the best right now, really good ball on there. But yeah, I mean, I could see a mid-major I could see 2 or 3 mid-majors making a Sweet 16.
Absolutely.
I can see a maybe a mid-major or two mid-majors making the Elite Eight. You might have a mid-major make the Final Four this year.
Hey, this goes back to what I said a few weeks ago when I said, hey, we'll get into it when we get closer to the tournament because we're not there yet. But this is the most Karen bracket you've ever effing seen.
Yes.
Because there is no way that you're going to be able to go, and it's going to be a mess, dude. And there's going to be upset city.
Oh,
and there's
when
going
I
to
do
be
my
Cinderella
pick
stories.
for my bracket, I'm doing a Karen bracket where I'm going to pick all the on there, how Karen would do on there. And people are like talking about, oh, Auburn's really good. Dude, remember, Bruce Pearl's coaching Auburn. Bruce Pearl is a buffoon.
Yeah.
He was a buffoon at Tennessee.
Yeah.
He's a buffoon here. Yes, he can recruit great, and they're playing great in the regular season, but come tournament time, Bruce Pearl's going to show that he's a buffoon like he always does. I'm not buying Auburn on it. I'm not buying Duke into it. I'm not buying... Again, Duke just doesn't have the horses. Yes, you know why? The Duke's doing really good right now in the ACC? Because the ACC sucks this year. They're terrible.
Yeah. Which is rare because the ACC is usually very good in basketball.
Right. You got the SEC's really good this year.
Yep.
Pac-12's really good. Got some good teams on there. And the Big Ten, again, is killing each other again.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with the Big Ten is they eat each other, and that becomes problematic, to be quite honest. But they are. I was hoping they'd be more battle-tested because of that, but we found out last year it was not quite
Did
the
you hear
case.
what the Iowa fans were chanting last night as they're beating up on State? NIT.
We're going to have college basketball relegation.
So, yeah. I mean, this is going to be one of those wide open tournaments where, again, everything goes. It's nuts.
Yeah, I think anything could happen. Anything goes. All that. To be honest, like I said, there's going to be Cinderella stories coming out of both sides. You know, we always talk about, what is it, the 11 and the 5 or whatever it is?
12 and the 4, 11 and 5, or the 5 or 11 are always.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
You might even see
you're gonna
13
see,
beat a 3.
Sure, you're gonna see. I was about to say those aren't gonna seem like
no,
nothing.
13 versus a 4. You might see a 15 versus a 3 win. You might even see a 15 versus a 2 win.
That'd be wild.
We have had a 16 seed beat a 1 seed finally.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll happen this year.
No.
But you're going to see
a
one
lot
of those
more
top
of that
5
across,
seeds in each bracket.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if there's some major upsets in that first round.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, I don't think the way State's playing, I don't think, and even if they do make the tournament, where they can lose the first game.
Right.
With it. And again, what is State going to do? I don't know. Who's going to take over for State when Izzo finally hangs it up? He doesn't have nobody out of the coaching tree that came through as assistants I would hire as their head coach. I thought Dane Fife might be that one under, but I don't think he's going to be there to come back on there to coach on there, and I don't see anybody taking over.
I don't either.
Michigan, if they would have got rid of Jawan, you could have got Martelli to finish out this year. Then you go and say, maybe do we go back after get Beeline back in? Yeah, I know he left him in a lurch when he left, but dude got you to the 2 finals.
Oh, yeah, I would love to have him back. I don't know if that's an option, though. I don't know what the situation is.
I think he's got like
that
that cushy job just as a consultant for the Pistons. So,
yeah.
But yeah,
Can't blame him.
Yeah, we got that. So we got the NBA on there, craziness on there. Anthony Davis hurt again for another 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, are we surprised?
No. Water's wet.
Yeah.
Winter's cold.
The Lakers are so screwed. They literally are in an NBA. They're in the NBA, I don't know, cellar till 2027.
I don't think they have a first round pick to 2028.
It's a mess.
Well, again, when you have 3 players consisting of $100 million of your cap,
I'm going to make an argument that when you let LeBron come in and dictate what you do with your roster, this is what happens. Okay, so he goes to Cleveland, he gets drafted by Cleveland, and couldn't get it done there. Leaves, goes to Miami. Cleveland has financial issues because everything's all messed up trying to keep the guy there. and it doesn't work out, and he leaves anyway. Then they go to Miami. He wants all his buddies there. They get all together. They do this thing to win championships. They don't win nearly as much as they should. Then they leave a crippled Miami team behind when they go because they've absorbed all their resources.
Right.
Then he moves on, goes back to Cleveland, wins one for the Gipper, so to speak. But once again, they kind of, weren't going to do for him what he wanted to do anyway. So, and what he needed, he was going to leave. So it was one of those things where he didn't hit him that hard that time, but still it's a nice story that they're winning. It's not because
it took him 4 years to get back
to where they're at.
They got
now.
lucky because they drafted pretty decent wise, and that's it.
So they got, once again, wherever LeBron goes, he sucks up every resources and leaves. He's a locust.
Oh my God, James! I said the same thing with it, but yeah, he's a locust.
He's a locust, and he's doing it to the Lakers. And this time, they're getting hit harder than any of them.
It's gonna be almost a decade before they're decent.
Yeah. It's gonna be 8 years before they'll be.
They signed the wrong players. They made bad trades. I mean, they traded guys to Washington, and the Bulls. Look what the Bulls did because they let guys go. The younger guys go.
Uh-huh.
I mean, look at Ball's doing there now. Well, look at DeRozan way he's revigorated his game.
Right.
And now Miami's made some great moves. Miami's one of the two. Plus, Miami got the right player.
Right. Well, the whole thing with Miami is they have somebody that is capable of dealing with the situations at the top.
Well, again, yeah, because you have
when you've got Pat Riley,
and Eric Spoelstra as your coach in it, and Riley running as the GM president and Spoelstra, you've got to go down there. But they made good moves. Once they got out of that salary cap hell, they made the right moves. They brought in the right guys on there with it.
But
and again,
not everybody's equipped like that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So, he's going to absolutely decimate the Lakers. So, the Lakers have always, they've always had there's been some lean times there with, when all you really had was Kobe and I get all that. But they've always been a player, and that they're not going to be for a long time.
For as long as I've been around, the Lakers have always been. There was that period the end of Kobe's career where they screwed up, but there was that era pre-Shaq.
Yep.
They were not that great.
Yep.
Especially when Magic came back to play power forward for him.
Yeah.
Not that good with it. I don't know. If Kobe doesn't die, I don't think the Lakers do this with LeBron and all that. I don't know if if Kobe
I think
is part of the franchise and part of the thing, I don't know if Kobe's going to allow this to be decimated like that.
I think the LeBron experiment is different. I think LeBron's ability to manipulate the roster doesn't happen. LeBron comes, they do make certain moves, but I don't think all those young guys get dipped. I don't think, you know what I'm saying? I don't think they sell out like that. It's one thing to be quote unquote all in on LeBron. It's another thing to 100% sell out on something you don't know what's coming. So, yeah, I will. So do I want to jump out of a plane with the parachute on my back, or do I want you to throw the parachute out and then I jump for it?
Right.
That's what you do with LeBron. Okay, I'm LeBron. I will jump out of the plane with you, but we're going to put the parachute on and we're going to jump out and we're going to pull the chute together. And LeBron's saying, no, I'm going to do that. You are going to chase yours.
Right. Or here's a backpack with your,
some
books
bricks in it. Yeah.
You pull it and you go, it's like Looney Tunes and Wile E.
Coyote. It's got an anvil in it.
Acme.
Yeah. Here's your Acme parachute with an anvil in it.
Yeah, with ropes tied to it. So you fall to your death and the anvil crushes you afterwards, still on top of it.
Yes, because it manages to float over you all the way down.
Yes.
Because that's how gravity works in cartoons. And of course, gravity does not kick in until you look down. Remember that.
Right. With it. But yeah, right now it looks like, the East. I think it's going to be Miami, the Bulls. We'll see how Milwaukee comes about.
Well,
back on there.
we'll get into that because
Yeah.
we've got time. But we'll talk about the East. Let's talk about the Brooklyn. Let's talk about
Oh, my
Harden. We haven't had any of that
Yeah.
conversation yet. Let's get into that. F what they're going to do. We'll find out. We know what's up. I want to know, is Harden going to be happy now? Are you happy now? I know Philly is. They're just done with that whole mess.
Yeah.
On their end. And I know the rest of Brooklyn is done with your mess on your end. So it's really on you now. Like, are you going to be okay? Or are you going to be sick of being in Philly here soon,
Are
too?
you sick of going to be second fiddle to Joel Embiid?
I don't think he cares about being second fiddle or any of that stuff. I think he wants to come in, get his, and then let everybody else take the heat and pick up the responsibility and do all the hard work.
Right.
I think he wants to just come in. So it's like, okay, let me come in, get my stuff in, and then you guys win this game for us. And he's fine with that. He'll pick it up any way he can get it like that. But I think there's a lot of other things that he wants, that needs to be catered to. That's like, and where does it become he's the drama queen? Look, Ben Simmons isn't a great deal, but this trade had to happen.
Yeah.
Because you what are you doing with Harden? Nothing.
No.
Ain't nothing going to happen there with Harden. That's a totally toxic situation. Look at how the All-Star picks went down. Did you see that show?
Yeah. He was the last player taken because he was the only one left.
Did you see how he wasn't picking him? Your boy fucking
Oh, KD wasn't picking him no matter
him.
what.
That's what I'm saying. Like, your own teammate won't pick you.
Right. And the reason LeBron picked you because he had to because you were the only one left.
Right. And then Chuck clowns you on national television. And LeBron's like, "What, is James even playing? Like, I thought he was injured or whatever." He's playing. And Chuck comes out live on TNT and says, "Oh, he got traded. He's feeling fine. He'll be playing tomorrow." And they lost it. They lost their fucking mind. LeBron had to hide behind a clipboard. He was laughing so fucking hard. Dude, they were clowning this kid.
Yeah.
Like, league wide. Like, let's be real about it. So, look, you got to, sometimes you have to look within, right? Look, I don't like my day job every day. And I could go through a whole list of stuff. And Moose, when we get off the air here shortly, I'll tell you a funny one that just irks me. But there's a million things that just piss me off about my job or whatever. But guess what? I could get mad at that job, and I could leave that job, and I could go to another job, and guess what will be at that job? The same BS. The whatever it'll be there. So in the end, it's how do you feel about yourself? Because you can't outrun that feeling. Whatever's going on between your ears, whatever's going on in your head, whatever's going on with the way you feel about yourself, whatever's going on with your mental health, you can't outrun that by changing jobs or leaving relationships or moving out of town or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't because you take it with you.
Right.
So, like, he's just taking it with him, dude. It doesn't matter where he goes. It never was about where he was at.
No, and it's about with it. But you look at the history of him and KD, and Russell Westbrook, their entire careers. I mean, they came up at Oklahoma. How did Oklahoma not build a juggernaut in the West?
Yeah, to me, it is a absolute injustice in NBA lore that team didn't win a championship.
They only went to one finals.
I know. They should have won a championship. At
Yes,
least one championship.
At least one.
Yep. And they
How that team on there with that? I mean, dude.
and they only
how
got
the
one
hell-
shot at it, and they didn't even
because
really.
they can't. I mean, it's like Jesus.
So yeah, but once again, it's like the polar opposite of the 04 Pistons, right?
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
my God, yeah.
Because you have like the sum of its parts, and then these are just like all
I
these.
mean,
great-
Harden probably will never go to win a championship. Westbrook's never going to win a championship on there. And KD won one because why? He was at Golden State.
Right. Well, KD had to go get one. There was no. He was not going to carry a team. If he couldn't win one as the guy with those cats with that team set up, like we said, then it wasn't going to happen. So he had to go to a team that was pretty much ready to win one already. and then just
who already won one. They just
Right.
said, all right, we lost. We won 73 games, but
Right.
lost in the finals.
Right.
Because, again, a BS of Draymond getting
Yeah,
suspended
yep,
on
yep,
it,
yep.
which was BS.
So he just went and he just chased a ring.
Right. He
It
chased
took
the ring
somebody
on
it
there.
took somebody
and,
else's. So he won't ever, as the centerpiece, he won't ever win like
No.
that. He won't. We talked about it before. That's why I laughed when everybody was on the Brooklyn thing. Oh, they'll win if they all play together and stay healthy, they'll win a championship. And I started laughing. I'm like, no, they won't, dude. This is gonna implode. Will not work. Trust me. KD as this focal point won't ever happen. That's why he went to Golden State. And guess what? James Harden's the same way. He just never found his Golden State.
No.
But he's the exact same way, and it won't happen. And guess what? Russell Westbrook will always be fun to watch, but the way he plays basketball will never win you a title.
Oh, God, no.
It will do quite the opposite. It will
Especially
prevent
now
you from
that
winning.
he's lost a step and he's not as explosive and everything.
Even
with
if
it.
he was before, it doesn't matter. He's a volume shooter,
Right.
and he's not a good shooter. He's not a shooter,
No.
but he's got to be a volume shooter. But he can't shoot.
No.
He's got to hit
Terrible shot.
floaters, and he's got to run, and he's got to do all this goofy shit to try to make a basket. Because, and the only way he can be productive is to do a lot of it. Dude, no, this isn't. No.
You have to be efficient.
Yeah, this isn't the Gus Macker, dude.
Right. Right.
It's not going to work.
And as you alluded to earlier, with Phoenix with CP3 being out 6 to 8 weeks with the fractured thumb and that, can they weather the storm in that on there?
They need to get it together because and this is no joke. When you lose the best point guard in the league right now off your team with a young roster, and he's your veteran leader, you could have a precipitous drop off, even more so than just that talent seems to dictate. But Phoenix has responded in the past well to. It's not like CP3 has not been out before. He's an older guy in the league, and he's had time off for injuries or repair or rest or whatever. So he's missed time, and they've handled it well in the past. But in the home stretch, and he's going to be. You not only have to get through the season, you're talking at least a week into the postseason before he'll even probably be cleared to touch a basketball, because it's 6 to 8 weeks on a break.
Right.
And you're 6-7 weeks away. So you could be a week into the playoffs before he gets cleared to take shots. And then he's got to feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And then he's got to get his stroke back. And then he's got to feel like he can go out there and not hit it on something and break it again. Like there's a certain level of confidence and comfortability and flexibility, range of motion, depending on how they have this thing kind of like bound to the other ones, because they don't really cast fingers. Depending on how they try to restrain it so that it can heal properly. And then how the healing process goes is another issue. Because everybody heals different, and anything could happen. And you start a setback on a small bone, you can have a long setback on a smaller bone.
Oh yeah, especially the thumb.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like you brought you did your ring finger, your mid pinky on
right.
it. It's the thumb in that.
So they don't do much. Well, what the thing with the thumb is yeah. So
I think they'll give them a splint or something.
Yeah,
on there,
I think they have a cast for the thumb that they will put, so that's a good thing. Usually with other digits, because I've broken other fingers, not my thumb.
It's just a splint.
It's just a way to tie it together or keep it from moving.
Where the thumb
keep it immobile.
Have a molded like a brace, and they'll cast.
Yeah. So it'll be a soft cast. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of what they called it. It's a soft cast or air cast is what they would call it. But I think that's actually a company name. But they make the soft cast for like foot brakes too.
Yeah.
That didn't need a hard cast. I had to have a hard cast on my foot brake. Yucky.
Nowadays, they'll give you either a hard cast or the boot for your foot.
Yeah.
And everything with it on
there. But they, anyway, so yeah, you could potentially be 8 weeks before he can really be effective for you. And that puts you 2 weeks into the playoffs. you could very easily. You have to win the first round without him.
Yeah.
You have to plan to win the first round
Again,
without
the
him.
key is how again are you going to fall out of the are you going to fall out of the top 3
And
or out of the top 2 of the standings there? Because good news is there's 6.5 games up on the Warriors. But remember, Clay's getting back in shape. He's starting to look good.
right.
Steph's looking really good again on there. Draymond will be back once Draymond gets his on. Then you got the whole gang back together at Golden State. I don't know if you want to take on Golden State right now.
Yeah.
They're 8 games up on Memphis under. Can they keep within the top 2 on there? I think again, and then Utah's 12. I don't think they're going to fall beyond
No.
on there because again, it's still. I mean, 12 games is a lot unless you absolutely utterly collapse. I mean, unless you pull a Brooklyn, the way they're playing or the Lakers playing right now, they're not going to be. They'll be all right.
Yeah. So
With that, but yeah, it's pretty interesting on there. Yeah, the East wise is Miami and Chicago. I mean, Chicago is, dude. I gotta root for them.
yeah, I always love the underdogs. We talk about it a lot with when it comes to any sports, and we'll see it with the NCAA tournament, all that stuff. I'm with you. I like them. They're and they'll be fun to watch, and we'll catch them, and we'll break down like what we're gonna expect to see in the seedings and stuff like that, guys. We've got plenty of time to get into that because we don't know what's going to happen, Moose. Like you said, are they going to tread water? Is Phoenix going to tread the water? You're going to get other teams healthy and are going to come up. I don't know. We'll see how everything plays out. Where's Utah at and all that mess over
They're
there?
4th.
Yeah, so you watch out there. Don't sleep on that.
No, don't sleep on Utah.
And so, and then like you said, in the East, which Boston are we going to get? Chicago's been nice. New York, we thought was going to come back this year and do a little bit of what they did last year, and they didn't. No. So there's a lot to get into this year. So next week, be ready. Be NBA ready because I have a feeling we'll have plenty to get into. And, no, we are not going to break down the 35-round draft and how the hell the Michigan team got shea butter on the team
First
again.
Pick overall.
I know. Only in a fantasy world can Shea Butter be the number 1 quarterback picked overall in a professional football league. I think I'm going to vomit. I did a little bit in my mouth already, but that's okay. I love you guys. We'll be back to talk more sports next week. We love you guys.
Peace out.
Peace. Even the cat digs you guys.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.